Before you came here today, probably nobody promised you would go to a conference where you would find the next Gutenberg. They didn't promise you that? Okay, well today, this morning, or this afternoon, I'm going to show you what I believe is your next Gutenberg, and it's actually right in front of all of us. Before I get to that, a bit of background on Qualcomm. For those of you not familiar with Qualcomm, Qualcomm is a fairly new company, actually just founded in 1985. And since that founding, quickly became the leader in cellular communication. And actually, Qualcomm is the largest supplier of chipsets to cell phones today. The division I'm in is called QMT. It's Qualcomm's MEMS technology division. It's a wholly owned division that's focused on the development, the manufacturing, and the marketing of a new display technology that we commonly call Mirasol. Now, before I get to that, the Mirasol technology, I want to show you this chart. And when you see this chart, you've probably seen a ton of these today. It's like, God, what do I have to look at another one of these charts for? Well, the chart is the value of the worldwide market for displays. Every application, televisions, cell phones, laptops, e-readers, it's over 100 billion US dollars in value. The units are literally in the billions of units that are shipped worldwide. So why would I show you this? Not to show you that I knew what a number was, or that I talked to an analyst last week that gave me the latest chart. These are your new Gutenbergs. There's billions of them right in front of us. And it's another user in front of each one of those screens. It's another distributor, another news outlet on each one of those screens. And as I came to this conference, we think a lot about how our display technology can help and enable e-readers or the publishing business in general. The challenge that we see in this market is, how do you take this beautiful piece of art? It has a way of reading, it has a flow, it has a very clear layout. You, for years, hundreds of years, you've determined what type of paper you were going to use. The weight of the paper, whether it was glossy or whether it was flat, the font, how it would look and feel, the weight of this. Let's think about that for 100 years. And your challenge is, how do you take this beautiful piece of art and put it on someone's screen? A screen, mind you, that there are billions of, and they range from 2 inches in size up to over 100 inches in size, and resolutions that are really small, like maybe 120 pixels per inch, on upwards and approaching 300 pixels per inch. It's a daunting task. It's a daunting task for the people in this room to maintain this user experience in the portable or even non-portable electronic display market. So let's go back and do a bit of history. Everyone in this room, I'm sure, could give me a history here on this great invention. Since I've been in the industry for over 20 years, electronic displays, I got to tell you, we always looked at paper as the most formidable competitor to us. It was low cost. It was clearly lightweight. It doesn't take any power. You can see it just about in any environment, unless the lights are off, in a dark, completely dark room. It's foldable. We know it's portable. There's no boot time. There's no lockup. It's always on. Doesn't go to sleep on us. Right? It's disposable. It's shareable. We used to look at this 20 years and go, how could we ever compete with paper? Oh, by the way, you can also wrap a fish in it. That's a big disadvantage for me. It did a good job, and it's done a good job since 1439. And the issues you face now are what has changed. The changes is that electronic displays did really good. We went from CRTs, those large, bulky devices on your desk, to thin, flat panel displays, liquid crystalline silicon, and organic light-emitting diodes. We also had the internet take off. It boomed. All things that you know about, coupled with wireless. Coming from Qualcomm, wireless has done well. And what it's done is exactly what I talked about in that first slide. We've created billions of Gutenbergs that range from 2 inches to over 100 inches. That's what we did. And now your challenge is, how do you manage that? Because now they want that content. They want this same magazine, the same newspaper, but they want it on their handset, they want it on their laptop, or they want it on their e-reader. And that's the biggest challenge as you go forward. Convergence. I talk to some and they say, well, Jim, I don't know. I don't really buy the convergence for e-readers. You know, it's dedicated for reading. I stand before you today. If you still don't think it's a convergence device, see me after I'm done talking. We saw handsets go through convergence. It started off with a handset that was just used to talk with. And you used it when you drove home and when you drove to work, because that's where the cell towers were. They were on the interstate. You always had a good connection. Then the connections got better. The antennas proliferated. More features put into the phone, and all of a sudden, it's a converged device. The same event will happen in the e-readers. History has a way of repeating itself. And when that happens, you will witness another phenomenon that we have witnessed in portable consumer electronics, which is power. And the one thing I want to get across today, if I don't get anything to you, I just want you to take this one item. As you move forward, don't ignore the value of power. It has quite an impact throughout the entire value chain and your reader's user experience. Convergence in a handset created what we called an energy gap. The energy gap's simple. More features, more usage. More usage, more energy consumption. More energy consumption, bigger batteries. Bigger batteries in a handset? Nope, can't do that. Phone has to stay thin, it has to stay lightweight. And you can't add a tremendous amount of cost to it. Battery technology only improves about 5 to 6% a year. It doesn't keep up with the demand of energy consumption in a handset or the demand for energy consumption that you're going to see in e-reader type devices. I'll drag you through one more example so that I can drive this home. If you look at the whole ecosystem, which in some ways will be similar for you and the devices that your products are shown on, it starts with the designer. A designer that has a low energy consuming device has the flexibility to put in different types of user interfaces. He can have flexibility with his design of the product, right? Which is very important. It also has an impact on the OEM who manufactures the product. If he has to put a bigger battery into a handset, for example, just going from 740 milliamp hours to an 1100 milliamp hour battery, it could add 75 cents to $1 to a handset. You're making millions of those a month, that's a big impact. The product managers, they'd like to have more features in the handset. And when they put those features in, they know that that handset has to have a usage period, an on period in between charges for the carrier to accept it. They can't continue to put those features in and make the carrier happy unless the energy budget is appropriate for the handset. Lower energy consuming components make a big impact there. And then there's the carrier. And you will see this in your business. The carrier with a low power handset, it's called ART, available revenue time, which is the amount of time that a handset is functioning in between charges. Let's say you're a teenager. You leave the home with your iPhone in the morning at 7 a.m. and you come back at 7 at night. And you're a student. You didn't have a chance to charge during the day. You're basically out there. What happens? Well, getting towards the afternoon, a whole bunch of text messages went on, some web surfing